Hey, so quick life update. Today is Wednesday, 29th of April. It's final season, so I have a finals exam tomorrow and another one next Tuesday, and then I'm done for the semester, which means I'll be moving on to year four in university, which means things are coming up. No, it's likely I'll start looking for a job soon enough. And yeah, my initial plan for the summer was, and it still is, I'll fly back to Korea, be there for 3 months, meet some people, including my family, of course, some friends. But besides that, when it comes to like more related to my careers, I'll continue with the usual, tutoring people, making some pocket money off of that. Besides that, I was considering just trying to start off a couple businesses, just doing lots of projects here and there. Within my life, creating some apps, some programs, some softwares, perhaps trying to launch them, see if I can collect any kind of a user base anywhere. Because I wasn't able to find an internship over the summer, so I could count that as a failure. But you also never know. Um, yeah, also never know. Some things, you never know what you're going to count as a failure and what you're going to count as a success because it's what you make out of it. So I wasn't able to find an internship for this summer. So is that a failure? Perhaps. If I end up spending the time doing other meaningful things that spirals into other things, God knows what that may be. Perhaps it's a good thing that I wasn't able to find an average internship over the summer. So it's really up to what I make out of the 3 months that I have. Quite potentially, most likely my last summer break of my life because I'll be graduating this time next year. It's a pretty cool thing. I was planning on like trying a few startups here and there with a friend I have. I recently got a text from him about like an hour ago saying that he managed to find an internship here in Singapore. He's also Korean and he was planning on or considering flying back to Korea for the summer as well, just like I am. But he was able to find an internship, a pretty good one as well, and I'm very happy for him. I am happy for him, but at the same time, I can't stop think that like, damn, am I falling behind? And I think this is a thought that everyone has. Everyone or many people around my age level or around like my level in life, around my stage in life, graduating soon in university, where you're studying for the courses, you're taking the final exams, but you don't really know where they're leading you to. Everyone, the job market seems bad. Like, can I find a job? If I find a job, will I like it? Is it going to be worth all the time I spend in education for the past almost 20 years? Like lots of things. But yeah, with that being said, when life feels overwhelming, often the easiest things to do is to number one, focus on smaller things. So, all this considered, sure, I get it, but what are you gonna do today? What's the best thing that you could do for yourself, for your future self today? And I guess for now, what I should do is prepare for my finals tomorrow. I'll spend the majority of the rest of the remaining day and tomorrow preparing for that exam, which I have at 5 p.m. tomorrow. So I have about 24 hours. That's enough. Besides that, this summer there is a team I'm working with. It's like a smaller startup. Right now they're really trying to talk to some venture capitals, some like clients, which are generally small to medium enterprises that we're dealing with. I believe they're flying out to Japan in a couple weeks to host some kind of a seminar or a talk to some potential clients there or investors. I'll see if I can tag along. It'll be a cool experience for me either ways, just tag along, help with whatever I can help with. If not, at the least just go and observe. It'll be an interesting experience if you ask me. But it may happen, it may not happen. You never know. Meeting a couple people as well. Just usually people, mostly older people who have, who have stuff to talk about. Okay, I'll get into more detail. There's a lady that I met at one of my part-time jobs, and then she introduced me to a couple of her, no, a friend of her who's in Singapore working in like Microsoft, who might be contacting again soon enough, since I'll be looking for a job. So maybe I don't know. So right now, currently, in my life could really go in many different ways. There's a couple paths that I can end up in 1 year from now, and I'll talk about them. I'll talk about them now. But before I even talk about them, there's also a very good chance that I won't end up in any of those directions that I talked about because oftentimes, more often than not, the future is very unpredictable. And whatever you might be preparing for, whatever you might be anticipating, no matter how likely that is, there is always a higher chance than not that things don't exactly go that way, right? That being said, right now I see like the most obvious paths would be, I graduate, I go on a job search for a couple months. I try to use whatever network I have, whatever achievements I made in the past however many years, including the upcoming year. Try to find a job, probably some kind of a tech job, something along the lines of a software engineer, in some kind of company, get a monthly wage, monthly salary, work there for however many years until my life takes another path. That's the most probable scenario, right? Another scenario is I end up working in a smaller startup where and this is the one I think I'll be more interesting. I mentioned there's a team I'm working with, right? So there's a chance that we expand into like the Southeast Asian market, most notably Singapore. Then I might be helping them deal with a couple clients there, perhaps do like some sales pitches, webinars, seminars. That's the best case scenario. Or at the same time I work as a semi full-time engineer, just managing stuff, building platforms and all that. And I still would need to be in Singapore either way. So perhaps I can find myself a job as at like an academy working, tutoring kids, middle school, high school kids might be interesting enough. So I'll be running two jobs essentially, tutoring high school, middle school kids at academy, getting a monthly salary there as well as an employment pass. That would be the most ideal scenario. And then on top of that, if I can get a full time working with the Korean startup team I'm with, then I'll be getting like double salary essentially, right? Which will be pretty cool. And I'll invest that all, and you already know I'm gonna be investing like as much of that into QLD. Yeah, as long as I make a decent salary, I think QLD got me covered in terms of like money and stuff. At the moment, I don't see myself being broke in like 10 years. That's not the primary concern. The primary concern is, will I be doing something I enjoy? And will I be seeing like self-development through challenges? Yeah. So two scenarios. One, I find a job, some tech job, become some software engineer of some sort. That's possibility number one. Possibility number two is I keep working with the startup remotely in Singapore. And because I need to get some kind of a visa in Singapore, I'll work at a academy full time as well. Yeah, so many things that could happen. Or I just am not able to find a job and then I stay unemployed for a few months, which is also fine. Not the end of the world, really, really not the end of the world. So yeah, life could go in many ways, but at the moment, what I need to focus on is my exam tomorrow. As much as I don't believe in university degrees meaning anything anymore. I mean, I only have 1 year left in this whole education journey. Might as well complete it. Yesterday I took another final exam for this module called artificial intelligence, and during the entire semester, I went to zero lectures, zero tutorials, zero labs. Didn't do anything. I studied for a couple hours before the exam, and surprisingly, I think I did pretty well. Didn't not get the results back, but I think I did pretty well. Got a bit lucky with a few questions, I think. And the same thing goes for the exam tomorrow. I have not watched a single lecture or a single tutorial session or a lab. I'm just gonna go take a look at the past year papers, cram in whatever I can cram in, and fucking ball it like a man, Who cares? Yeah, so that's gonna be summer for me. Hopefully get some work, doing some software engineering. There's also a couple like freelance clients that I work with here and there, but nothing like too consistently. That's something for me to figure out as well. If I end up getting more work from them, that would be great. It's a lot of cash. Collectively, I've worked with them for about a total of maybe like 4 to 5 weeks, and collectively I've made about 10,000 SGD ish, give or take. Yeah, give or take 10,000 SGD in 4 or 5 weeks, which is really not bad. In fact, it's fucking fabulous. Yeah, if I can get more work from them, that'd be great and exciting. And yeah, there are a couple people I've historically worked with in Korea. I have the Wiko work lady. I'll go send her a message maybe next week or something. Meet her in Korea. The Rachel lady, I'll be seeing her for a glass of beer. Then we'll talk about interesting stuff. I think she's got like a couple projects planned in her life, general things. See if I can get involved. I think it'll be exciting. I'm really just trying to branch out to anything I can. And do some personal projects. Maybe try like a couple startups. Next sem, once I come back from Korea, I think I'll be farming hackathons, like genuinely just join 10, 20 hackathons for the entire semester. Fucking rock them up, hopefully. Make some money doing that or whatnot. Of course, continuing with the tutoring as per usual. And yeah, that's the gist of it. That is indeed the gist of it.